Welcome back, everybody. This is WingsOfWax, and we are playing Slay the Spire. Last time, let's see, we picked up a toolbox, which will give us one random card in our opening hand to choose from. We got Blood Vial, which will heal us 2 at the start of each combat. We have an Empty Cage, which we removed a Strike and a Defend from our deck, so that way we can try to make it so we can consistently draw our better cards. The blood vial kind of works out pretty well with the burning blood, so we can basically like heal 8. Do we find any new cards? I'm just kind of readjusting and trying to remember exactly what happened last time. Is this checked off on obtained? Yes, it is. So that means the last time we picked up, it looks like an uppercut, a true grit, a pommel strike, and a bludgeon. I'm not sure if we picked up headbutt or not, but and we also have 2 immolates and 2 bludgeons in this deck right now with a double tap. So that's actually really good for us. I'm pretty excited to see what happens here, because we only have 5 of our basic cards here, plus a bash, obviously. But a bash is not a terrible thing to have in your deck still. So far, so good, though. I want to see what this looks like upgraded, just out of curiosity. This turn, your next attack is played twice. Your next 2 attacks are played twice. I'm not sure we're ever going to be able to get to a place where we can actually take advantage of 2 attacks being able to come in, because if we have like Bludgeon and Immolate, we really only have like between 3 and 4 mana typically. So I'm not sure that upgrading Double Tap is actually going to be worthwhile for us in the long run. I'm not even really sure what exactly we want to upgrade, to be completely honest, if we actually do find a rest stop that we don't need HP. Maybe just like a bludgeon or like a seeing red. Seeing red costing 0 is actually really good. So pommel strike is always going to be decent. True grit actually is probably the better choice, just to be able to choose which card gets exhausted. Typically we can figure that out though, but I don't know. Let's take a look, see what we got. We are in Act 3 now, so I do want to avoid elites as much as possible, just because they will kill us. There is Nemesis, who is a giant pain in the rumpus, and he will destroy us because he has intangible for every other turn, which means that he can only be dealt 1 damage for every attack that we deal. So it doesn't matter if we have a bludgeon that deals 32, it will only deal 1. So it's and the turns that he is intangible are the turns that he also puts out a very powerful attack. So we do want to avoid as many elites as possible, just because we don't want to run into Nemesis if we can help it. So it's probably just best for us to just seek a path that doesn't go with any elites for now. And then if we decide, like, maybe further down the line, which it looks like this path-ish is going to be, this side, the right side is going to be probably the direction we go in, just because we want the option to be able to go fight him, but we don't necessarily want to go fight him right away. So it looks like we can't really go down this way. So we have these 2 choices. Is there another shop at any point here? The only shop would be if we decide we want to fight the elite and be able to go fight here. So I'm thinking that we might want to just hit the shop right away. We do have 235 gold, which is not a lot. We could remove another strike or defend. I didn't really pay attention to see just how many of each of those we had. I know one of them was 2, one of them was 3, but we probably would get rid of a defend, I would imagine then. Yeah, okay. Since we have a pretty decent chunk of both, so like it's pretty average between the both of those. So let's just start off with this one, and then we'll try to make our way towards that shop. So we have these lifelink guys. They are a pain too, but they are not too bad. So basically what happens is they have an ability called lifelink, which is if other enemies are still alive and this if other enemies are still alive, this revives in 2 turns at 50% HP. So these guys, we have to like try to kill like almost all at once, or like kill 1 and then kill the other 2 on the following turn. So that way they don't keep coming back and generating more and more value. So if I remember, Panache does not actually help us out very much. It is probably the strongest card here. So we have Flash of Steel, which is deal 3 damage, draw a card for 0 mana. We have Master of Strategy, which is draw 3 cards, exhaust. We have Panache, which is every time you play 5 cards in a single turn, deal 10 damage to all enemies. Obviously, Panache would be fantastic, but I don't think we have very many 0 casting cost cards. We really only have the Infernal Blades, which could potentially set us up if we have 3 1-mana cards to be able to cast in the same turn, but that is the only way to really go for this. Seeing Red obviously would help too, but that would only be about 4 cards. So I actually don't think Panache is going to be worthwhile to go for. Do we we start with 5 cards in our hand, right? This is not the Silent, so it does not have that snake to be able to draw the extra 2 cards in the beginning. So yeah, I mean, we have Pocket Watch, which is great, but it doesn't really help us right away. We also might just use this Explosive Potion at some point during this match, because I do want to get rid of a potion at some point, and that is the best one to be able to deal damage to all these. So I'm thinking we just go with Flash of Steel just to deal the extra damage. I don't think we need the 3 extra cards. It is nice, but I'm thinking that the Flash of Steel might just be better just to deal extra 3 damage right away. We did draw Immolate, which is fantastic. So we can go for an Immolate and Headbutt, but we can obviously Flash of Steel first. I'm okay. Yeah, we have 10 because we have 10 armor because of the anchor, so actually I don't even need to block this turn, which is fantastic. So let's go for the weakest one here. Actually, let's go for the biggest one, just to like try to even him out with everybody else. And we have Immolate here to be able to deal some extra damage. And I would like to Headbutt. Let's see. These guys are probably going to attack next turn because they're defending this turn. So I actually want to deal damage to them right now. And I'm going to put Immolate back on top of our deck because I feel like that is necessary. I'm not going to go for the Explosive Potion unless it actually will kill one of these. So there's no real reason to go for that right away. Yep, so we have double Immolate here. We have Seeing Red, so we can actually go for that if we want. And we have the double tap too. They are dealing us a bunch of damage, but we can deal, what, 42 damage? And that would kill, this is 42 actually right now, and this is less than 42. So I think it doesn't really matter which way we go about this. I don't really want to draw the Seeing Red again if I can help it, but I think we just kill these guys this turn anyway, so. We're going to go for the double tap Immolate, just in case one of these was alive, so we have an extra couple of points of damage to be able to kill them, but I was pretty sure they were dead there. So, we have Shrug It Off, which is just 11 block. That's really it. It just goes up by 3 blocks, so I'm not really like a huge fan of this. It is good. I won't say it's not, because typically when you do block, in a block light deck, you do want to be able to draw cards, which I would say we probably have slightly less blocks than we do attacks in this deck, but I'm honestly eyeballing Seeing Red because it's already an upgraded Seeing Red. It costs 0 mana, and if you notice, we have 2 Immolates, we have an Uppercut, we have a Bash, we have 2 Bludgeons, we have a lot of things that cost 2 or 3 mana. So I'm actually like eyeballing this. Flex would be good too, but if Flex was upgraded here, I would have definitely considered it. Just because we don't have, I feel like, the resources to be able to go and reliably be able to upgrade this. Just because I want to be able to, since we're on Act 3, I want to be able to designate any of my fires to rely on them to rest us, just in case. And if we can upgrade a card, then that will just be a cherry on top, because it's not something we plan for right now, but it is something that that I think we should just like try to take the better cards right away that are already upgraded, or just like obviously an extreme, best cards like a second Immolate or potentially another Bludgeon. I'm not sure if I would take another Bludgeon, but maybe like an Infernal Blade or something. I really like Infernal Blades costing 0, so let's go to the shop here, see what we got. What are you offering us, my friend? Carnage is not bad, but I'm not going to take it. We already have plenty of 2 mana deal like 20-ish damage cards, so Anchor's not terrible. Bloodletting is fine. Disarm is pretty good. Rupture is not really going to help us. We don't have a lot of cards, but for We have for our relics, we have nunchaku. So every time we play 10 attacks, we get an extra energy, which is not terrible. This actually stacks between combats as well, so it's actually not that bad. Whenever you apply, well, we can't even use this, but whenever you apply vulnerable, apply 1 week as well. This one raises your max HP by 7 and heals. Man, it costs 125 to remove a card right now. That is not good. That's highway robbery right there. I'm looking at the Nunchuck or a card removal service right now. Disarm is not a terrible card or a pickup either. Like I said, I would take Panache, but this is not a Panache style deck. I feel like Panache is better for any strategy that really has a bunch of 0 casting cost cards. But for the most part, it goes for like the silent. I would say that's typically what this is for. You could also make a pretty good 0 casting cost deck for what's it called, the Defect and the Watcher. Those do pretty well because with the Watcher you can go into like calm form and come out of calm form and be able to cast 5 cards in turn. But right now we can't actually use this. I'm actually thinking of going for the Nunchuck since I think the extra energy might be helpful since we do have a lot of like high casting cost cards in the deck. And eventually, like, what's that? Every 3 turns we would get an extra energy basically. I think that's worthwhile. We do have the option of picking up a Disarm here. I wish that it was upgraded, you know. I don't want to spend the time to upgrade it. Because the Disarm is really good against bosses, especially when they have those damage times X turns. And like I said, with I think in earlier episodes, that the Heart has like a 3 times 12 damage or something like that. It might even be more. It might be like 6 times 12. I'm not mistaken. Which would then reduce its attack by its strength by 2. So it deals slightly or a lot less damage at that point. I'm tempted to go for the Disarm. I realize it's a defensive card, but I think it's going to be more helpful for us for the bosses. So I know it's not upgraded, but I do think we're going to need some help. And like I could go for like another Thorns here and get rid of what? Ancient Potion probably. Because only having 1 artifact is really not that powerful, to be completely honest with you. Regen Potion is not terrible either. Dexterity obviously is really good too. And we can really only choose 1. We can't buy a potion and Disarm. I'm tempted to just go for the Disarm though. I think we'll pick up some potions along the way. Maybe not many, but a couple. So I think we just go for the Disarm here. And we are left with 23, so let's get going. Next combat. All right, we have an Orb Walker. So he is going to be what? Attacking us? Okay. So we could apply Weak here. One thing to note is he has an ability which is called Strength Up. At the end of its turn, it gains 3 strength. So it's kind of like the cultists, the caca, those guys. Yeah. Every single turn he'll get an additional 3 strength. So we could apply 2 weak. I don't think we're gonna really be around long enough to be able to take advantage of Mayhem or Chrysalis. Yeah, I said that right. Chrysalis. Wow. Chrysalis. I said it wrong. Chrysalis. I was close. But I like the 0 mana be able to weak him for next 2 turns, so we can just try to apply as much damage as possible. He's going to be going for an anchor here, or we have an anchor here, which will actually block his damage. So I'm not actually sure now that I think about it if we should go for the weak. I just don't think that this is going to go long enough because he only has 94 HP for us to fully take advantage of Mayhem or Chrysalis. I like just taking the 0 mana card here, honestly. We did get Armaments, which is pretty powerful. I will take that. Is there really a point in us seeing red here? Not really. We're probably just going to immolate. I mean, we could use seeing red just to go for the Rampage here. So I think that's worth going for the extra damage, as poopy as that is. And do we blind him? I think we do. So that way he's set up for weak for next turn. And obviously it doesn't really matter if we actually cast that or not. The defend, that is. All right. So we have a True Grit Plus. We also have an Uppercut, which is not terrible, but I actually think Pommel Strikes are just going to be better here. Actually, this is going to apply Vulnerable. Yeah, I think the Vulnerable is actually more important than the card draw right now, because we already have enough stuff in our hand to be able to, like, combat him right now. And if I'm going to True Grit, I'm actually going to get rid of the other True Grit. That is the weakest card in our hand. And yeah, I think we'll just go for the Uppercut here so we can try to deal him as much damage as possible. Apply 2 more weak as well. So this is going pretty well so far. We have, what, Infernal Blade to start off with. Let's try that. We get Whirlwind, which is already free. And this will not kill him. So, but we have Seeing Red to be able to get us an extra energy. This will deal 42 damage, and then we can just hit him with a Headbutt. That sounds pretty good to me. Let's go for that. Oh, right, he was vulnerable. Right. We have Anger, which is not terrible. I'm looking at Fire Breathing, though, because, like I said, Act 3 is when we have to start really considering cards that are better against the Heart, because he is the biggest, toughest, bossest in the game. And he does fill our hand or our deck with 4 curses and statuses early on. I think it's either turn 1 or turn 2. And I'm definitely considering going for this, so that way we just have an extra card against the Heart to be able to help us out. Because every little point of damage really does matter against him. And I feel like this will deal, you know, an easy stack up of damage over the course of the game for as long as we can prolong it. This obviously does better with a defensive style deck, but I think this is just worth going for here. We do have a decent chunk of block in the deck. It's not a block centric deck, but I think that'll be very helpful. So let's see, we have a Strike, which I'm probably going to take here. Discovery is not terrible either. So Discovery is 1 mana, choose 1 of 3 random cards in your hand, and it costs 0 this turn. And obviously we already know what Mayhem is, because Mayhem is pretty cool. This guy, we could get value probably out of Mayhem. So what this guy does is he has Malleable, which upon receiving attack damage, he gains 3 block. And the block gain increases as Malleable is triggered. Resets to 3 at the start of each turn. So if we attack him the first time this turn, it's going to be 3 armor, or 3 block. Then the next time we attack him this turn is going to be 6. And then it resets back down to 3 at the end of turn. The other thing he has is Reactive, which is upon receiving attack damage, it changes its intent. So you see how it's attacking right now and it's dealing 15. Well, that means that he either could do a X amount of damage times, you know, X, you know, it could be like a 5 times 5, you know, or it could be like him changing it to a negative debuff of some sort. So that is what this guy does. So you kind of want to just hit him until you find an aggressive, a reactive intent that you are okay with, which right now we're actually okay with the 15, to be honest. So I might just go with the Mayhem, because I think we can find for 1 more mana to be able to block up this turn, because I don't want to deal too much damage. Like we have the option to be able to go for like Seeing Red and Immolate and double tap that. How risky are we looking to get here? We are going to gain 8 life, so by the next combat, so that is something to keep in mind. So we could just take 5 here and just go for the Mayhem, and I'm kind of looking to get a little risky here. I guess worst case scenario, we don't cast the Mayhem and we go for the Pommel Strikes. So he's dealing 10 now. So that is fine. Dealing 10 damage is perfectly acceptable for me right now. We'll set up the Mayhem for next turn. I think that was worth it. Because worst case, like, see, right now he's going for a 10 for 3. Because worst case scenario, we could have just gone for the Pommel Strike, potentially found another attack. So he's dealing 15. I do want to go for the Infernal Blade just to see what we get here. Next up on our list, let's see. We should probably defend, but Do we want to disarm him? Mm, this is going to go relatively long. We can afford to take some damage here. These are tough choices, actually. These are I'm weakened right now. Yes, I am for the next 2 turns. That is unfortunate. We might as well actually go for this. Oh, so if I had that before, I think it would have gotten rid of both of them. Then I didn't realize. Oh, there we go. I didn't notice the swirlies behind that sword. Probably last time. That would be why. I wanted to get rid of that potion anyways, just so we made room. I don't think it's worth it for us to go for bludgeon. I think it's better for us to go for like immolate and defend, or immolate and disarm. But I think we should start with immolate and just see where that leads us, because we want to know what he's going to be doing first. He's going to be attacking for 22, which I'm going to try to go for the sword boomerang here. Oh, did he just block all that? I think he did. So let's. Well, we have enough energy to go for both here. I forgot we had the nunchuck. That was a pretty good turn though for the nunchuck, to be honest. So I'm excited about that one. That should give us some more value towards like the bosses and stuff. We just got a free uppercut. So he is dealing us 33, which we should be able to change that. So it's not a big deal. He is vulnerable for the next 2 turns, which we probably can kill him within the next 2 turns. So let's try. Should I go for the pommel first? Let's go for the pommel. See what we draw. We did not draw much. Ooh, he's doing nothing here. Or I shouldn't say nothing. He's doing a negative debuff. Oh boy. I think we just go for the fire breathing then and pass the turn. I think I don't want to risk him actually starting to deal more damage to us. That was like probably one of the better case scenarios for us. Yeah, unfortunately that is permanently into our deck, by the way, that curse that he just shuffled in. It's unfortunate. We do have armaments, so I should consider that, because it'll get us free mana with the Seeing Red. Next up on the list here, well, I guess we'll Seeing Red, because we're obviously going to do that this turn. We would like to spot weakness. We only have 2 attacks here, so let's start with that one. Let's start with the Rampage. He's going to be dealing us 9. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I don't really want to attack again. I don't want to take too much damage. So let's go for the True Grit and get rid of this defend. And I have the option of True Grit, get rid of Headbutt. I'm not sure that's worthwhile here, because Headbutt is really strong. It does make our draws, I think, slightly better, because Headbutt is good, but we're never going to be able to use, I feel like, Headbutt the rest of this combat. At least take full advantage of the actual putting something on top of our deck. I think that's the reason why we get rid of it. So we get Bludgeon here. He's dealing us 19. We could spot weakness. He is not weakened anymore. That is unfortunate. Oh, so it means we can't kill him unless I actually... Ooh, no, we still... This would deal 10, actually. So we actually would kill him with that. I think that's worth it here. Like this potion is fine. It's not like great, but I do think that just like taking him out right now is... Oh, we can't take him out right now. I think if I'd gone for that first, he wouldn't have actually been able to. Oof. Oh, now we're gonna take too much damage. No. I think if I had gone for this first, he wouldn't have gotten defense up, which I think that's how it works in this game. But I honestly brain farted because I forgot that that's how potions sometimes interact. Yeah, there's no point in us using the potion then. We're just going to have to unfortunately take 23 damage here. So I feel like that was a slight misplay, but I'm not 100% sure that actually is how this works, but it probably is how it works. Okay. Thanks. GG's. Body Slam is not going to be useful for us. A second armaments, even if it was upgraded, I probably still wouldn't take it here. And Shrug It Off, number 2 for us, I don't think is worthwhile either. Like, Shrug It Off is fine, but I'm not sure that it's really worthwhile for us to go for any of these. So we're going to see it. We already have 28 cards in our deck. That's quite hefty. I like to try to stay around 25-ish if I can help it. So what is he doing turn 1? He's going to be negative debuffing us. It would be kind of funny to go for the transmutation to be able to put X random colorless cards that cost 0 on the bottom of our deck. Oh, I'm sorry. They go into our hand and they cost 0. Maybe. I thought that was different. I kind of want to go for the Master of Strategy so that way we can actually find something that maybe vulnerables him this turn, or just like a big turn to be able to deal him a bunch of damage. Swift Strike is fine, but I think Master Strategy is just better here for us. He's going to be debuffing. I forget exactly what he does. So let's see. Let's go for the Seeing Red. Actually, let's go for Master Strategy first. We could find armaments. Then we'll go for the Seeing Red. And if he's putting negative cards into our deck, I'm considering going for this Fire Breathing, but at the same time, I believe I don't think he's going to be doing that. I think he just puts like weakens and stuff like that on us. I don't remember. I forget whenever I fight this Spire growth. I'm going to try to remember this for the next time then. So the best thing for us to obviously do here is probably just to double tap and bludgeon him. That seems like a pretty strong turn. We could have gone for the double tap uppercut, but I think that wouldn't have dealt as much damage as that turn right there. It's close, though. They're probably really close to each other, I would imagine. Yeah, see, the Parasite's in our deck now. Ugh. Not a fan. But we do get to True Grit it, so that's at least a positive. And I do want to try to prevent as much damage as possible, so I think we go for this. Get rid of the Parasite. And Pommel Strike just deals 1 extra damage, so sure, we'll go for that. And we get the Infernal Blade. Hey, that worked out. Unfortunately, we got a little punished there because we drew that Infernal Blade last, and we could have gotten a vulnerable on him, but oh well. Stuff happens. He is attacking us again. We could disarm him. I could just take 16 damage because that looks like what's probably just going to happen here, to be completely honest with you. We could Spot Weakness Immolate. We could Spot Weakness Headbutt Disarm. I think I'm going to use this skill here and see what we get first. We have Impervious. Okay, I can dig that. For 0 mana, yeah, we'll go for that, and we'll just try to deal you as much damage as possible. Should we Spot Weakness though and go for like the Immolate here, because that will probably deal more damage over time than the Bludgeon? I think that is the actual play. So we have Impervious, obviously. I think Spot Weaknessing is just like the better opportunity for us here. Yeah, and I could just see just going for the Immolate. That sounds fine. Like, the Bludgeon deals probably the most amount of damage, but the +3 strength, I feel like, will deal more damage over time there. And we have like 1 or 2 more turns with him. So let's go for the Infernal Blade first and see what we get. We get Sword Boomerang. We have Seeing Red. We need to go for the Bash straight up no matter what before I even cast this Sword Boomerang. We do not have lethal, correct? We do not. We could go for the potion here, and we would just have lethal. So why don't we do that? Since I don't think we need this. He's at 1. You're at 1. I don't have any 0 mana casting cost cards that yeah, will kill you. I really should have thought about that. And actually, that would have potentially killed you, I think. Yeah, I think we're just gonna go for that because it's unfortunate that we had to use it on 1 HP, but I think it's just more worthwhile to just save us some HP in the long run. So we have Wild Strike and we have Pommel Strike. We don't have an exhaust strategy, so we can't really go for Havoc, which is play the top card of your draw pile and exhaust it. If we had ways to take advantage of exhaust, I would say this is good. This is very similar to what's that other card we just had, where it plays the top card of our deck. I can't think of the name right now. It starts with an M. Mayhem, I think it actually was, which was the colorless card. I think that's what it was. I think I remembered. But this is very similar to that in the fact that it will play a top card of our library but exhaust it. But the problem is that I like a lot of the cards in our deck, and I kind of want to see most of them if I can help it. And this is unfortunately a skill and not a power, whereas Mayhem actually is a power, so it does it every turn. If this did it every turn, oh my goodness, this would be a slam dunk, but it only does it the one time you play it, so. Let's see, Wild Strike or Pommel Strike. Technically, the wound actually helps us with the fire breathing, so we could consider that. Pommel Strike is still just a really powerful card. I just don't want to fill my deck too much. Like, we already have quite a bit of cards in here, and I'm not happy about the True Grit that's not leveled up here, upgraded. We obviously have the Parasite in here. We have a lot of cards in here that I just like. We could afford to get rid of all of these. We're pretty close actually too. So like, it's either go for the Pommel Strike or I do nothing here, and I'm tempted to just go for nothing since we already have like a pretty solid deck. We also get the option to. I should take a look at a map before I decide to do this. So we are going up towards combat and 2 question marks and a new relic, and then we have another campfire before we potentially could fight this elite, or we could just go up this way and ignore the elite and be able to go up this way. We have 3 combats here. Well, it's either we fight 3 combats or we fight an elite, and I'm actually tempted to go fight this elite, which I think will upgrade a card here and then go for a rest probably right before this elite. I think that's. I do realize I'm running the risk of fighting Nemesis, which is a giant pain in my butt because he is probably the hardest elite I think in this game. He's actually harder than a lot of the bosses, which is kind of funny. But I think we can afford to run that risk right now. And even if we do fight him, we might still be able to get him. It might just take a potion or 2, which right now we only have liquid bronze thorns. I don't know. I think we upgrade a card here and then take that assessment once we get here to see if it's worth it for us to take on the risk of fighting Nemesis. So I think that's... Actually, no, we have to recall. We can't even smith here because we have to get that final key. So, we no matter what, we have to do that. I can't even upgrade right now. Okay, so these guys are hard. Actually, they're not too bad. So basically, he dies in 5 turns, but whenever he loses HP, he loses that much strength until end of turn, and he survives for 5 turns. So I think the best thing for us here, though, is just Apotheosis. Just setting us up for the future turns is just way better than anything else. We have Apotheosis for Seeing Red. Seeing Red then leads us into, let's see, we can spot weakness here and just go for a Pommel Strike, be able to take... this will deal, 14 damage to him, so we'll be taking 6. I kind of don't want to take a lot of damage, but the spot weakness does set us up for future turns to be able to make sure that we don't take more damage from him. This would deal 28. This would deal... Oh, we have... Why do we have 5 mana. What Seeing Red? Oops, what? Where did the... What? How do we get 2 extra mana? Oh, is this... No, this is not a boss. This is not an elite. Or is this an elite? Is this considered an elite? No, this would be blinking if that was an elite. How do we get 2 extra mana this turn? I realize that we just played Seeing Red, but we also played Apotheosis, which means that we should go up to 3. So how did we get the extra mana? I'm missing something, but regardless, we'll just take it full advantage. Yes, I would like to uppercut here. And he's not going to deal us like any damage. I think we should Pommel Strike because we could find another 1 mana card that would be helpful. We did not, so we drew the Armaments. But the Armaments actually is a dead card right now, so I'm actually glad that we got that out of our hands. So not only is he weakened, he's also vulnerable, and we also have 4 extra strength, which is going to be really good for us. We don't need to go for the Immolate. Technically we don't need to go for the double tap is what I'm really referring to. Yeah, we'll just see what we draw first. I kind of want to get rid of the strike in our hand. Let's see what the Infernal Blade has to offer. We have Fiendfire. Fiendfire's not terrible, but I think we'll just get rid of this. And this is just like, the oh crap button, just in case. I feel like we should keep that in our deck. We do have Immolate, so yeah, let's just use Immolate here. Just to make sure we take 0 damage. Like, no matter what, we were going to take 0 damage there, but it was just a matter of, like, which cards we wanted to play. I like having the option of exhausting certain cards. Disarm is a card. Unfortunately, we're probably going to be taking some hits here. Thank you, Parasite, for being a large help. Dealing 12. I think actually attacking him is just better than going for the defend, obviously, because, you know, it actually prevents more damage. We also got the nunchucks. So what do we want to put on top of our deck here? He is, what, 3 turns? So he's going to be 2 turns away. I almost want to reapply a uppercut to him. The other thing I could do is go for another spot weakness, since he's obviously going to be attacking us. We don't really have anything that like draws cards other than Pommel Strike. It's not really time to go for the Fiend Fire yet. We still have one more Headbutt in our deck somewhere, so we could put the Fiend Fire on our... potentially draw the Fiend Fire next turn, which, in order for us to have a better chance of doing that, I think it's better for us to go for the Pommel Strike here. And we can block up, so we can try to prevent us a little bit more damage. We're going to take 11, which is a lot, actually. I really like the look of this creature, though. The Transient. He is really neat. Let's go for the Infernal Blade. See what we get. We get Whirlwind. It's not exactly what I was hoping for there, to be completely honest with you. Oh, boy. Well, this isn't going well. Obviously, we can prevent a lot of damage this turn. We can deal 46 and, you know, take 11. Oh, that is painful. So he's not an elite, because I'm trying to remember why we got that extra. Yeah, well, we already deciphered that, because this would be blinking. I don't know how we got that extra energy early on, but maybe I just wasn't paying attention to Nunchuck or something. I don't know. Does it better just go for the bash and go for the pommel rather than the bludgeon here? This deals 14. This would deal 14, so 28 plus 7, which would be 35. Still technically better to go for the bludgeon. Yeah, that does not deal enough damage for us. So unfortunately, yeah, I think bludgeon is just still our best case scenario. As much as I would like to try to find a headbutt here, we have no reason to. Man, we're taking some hefty hits here. I realize in the grand scheme of things, it's not really, you know, that bad, but how do we like, this is probably the best case, and we just double tap that? I don't see any other plays, so I think that is just legitimately the only play that we really have here. Okay, we take 3 this turn, so I guess worse things could have happened, but I'm not very excited about that. We took like, what, 20, almost 30 damage there? That's a lot. None of these are really floating my boat. I do like Whirlwind, but I feel like Whirlwind is better when you take it early on. Like, if we didn't have Immolates, Whirlwind is really takes the slot of Immolate early on, which would definitely have pushed us through the first 2 acts, whereas right now I don't feel like Whirlwind is really all that useful, because, you know, spending 1 mana to deal 8 damage right now is just, you know, kind of lackluster. Hemikinesis is not terrible either, losing 2 HP to deal 18, and Rage typically can be pretty good, but it's not upgraded, and I'm not really a fan of taking non-upgraded cards at this moment, unless they are super duper powerful, which this is powerful, but it's not powerful enough for me to justify it, so I think we skip. So as you head to upwards, hopping from one floating shape to another, you slip, you begin to fall. While in free fall, you consider your options: land safely with your greatest techniques, channel a power to survive the fall, strike at the wall to hang on to it. So we can either lose a defend. That's not an awful choice. I think we're just going to lose a defend. Fire breathing or headbutt are the other choices. So, okay, you can take my defend. I feel so awful. I can't believe you just stole that from me. Healing is 50% more effective during combats, so that is pretty decent. Let's see what we get here. You discover a colorful shop with a banner in Spire and walk in to see what's inside. No, no way, nope. You can't let you in. A man with a ridiculous clothing appears at the entrance to the bar. This will not do. No, no. What is this style? Disgusting. Are you bleeding? Gross. Business? You a customer? Fine. Whatever. He lets out an exaggerated sigh and points at his list of services. The services seem fine, but you would rather punch this smug man in his smug face. So for the cost of 40 gold, we can upgrade 2 random cards. We could actually remove a card. We could remove a card and upgrade a card for 90 golds. I'm actually... that'd be upgrade a random, or we could just punch him in the face and lose HP. I think we should take up the one of these options here. Is there anything in particular that we would like to remove? I mean, obviously these are obviously things we want. We have Parasite we can remove, which would take us down 3 max HP, but I think that's worthwhile in the long run. We do have the Fire Breathing to be able to go with this, though, so it is something. But I don't think it's really worthwhile for us to hold on. I think we will remove a card and upgrade a random card. I think that's probably the best case for us. Choose a card to remove. I'm going to remove this Parasite. We upgrade and Immolate. Okay, I can't complain there. 35 health. Oh, we also got a potion, so I should drink that. We have 5 max HP now. We're not going to take advantage of this, but... how risky are we looking to play? Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Oh, Nemesis. My arch Nemesis. We have to consider you greatly. I think we skip the Elite, as much as I don't want to. I think we are forced to. Alright, so we have exhausted 3 cards in your hand. Magnetism, which puts a random colorless card into your hand. And we have gain 5 block. What are they doing? They're going to be dealing 10. So they're going to be dealing 0, basically. We could potentially go for the magnetism. So I think we just take that here. We only have 1 attack. Let's go for the armaments first. Does this get upgraded? It does. It costs 1 mana now. Okay, I can accept that. Do they put cards in our deck? I really should keep tabs of like which creatures put cards into our deck, which creatures put statuses and curses, so that way I can actually use this fire breathing properly. I don't remember. It's probably better for us just to go for a strike here, though, since I think that is just the most reasonable option. These guys are going to be attacking next turn, and I just think we should deal a little extra damage here. We'll deal it to the ones that are going to be attacking next turn. This guy's probably going to be defending, but he could obviously attack. I wonder what we'll get from a magnetism. The bomb. Okay. Interesting. Let's go for the Infernal Blade. We get Clothesline, which is going to be a deal 12 and apply to weak. Let's go for a Seeing Red. And we could technically double Immolate, but that will not kill everything. That will only kill 1 creature right now. And we would not be able to Clothesline to finish off both of the other ones. So there'd still be 1 alive. And unfortunately be one of the ones that are still attacking. So we have to keep that into consideration here. I think I will Clothesline this guy, though, because I just don't want him to deal less damage. Right? Weaken is deal less damage from attacks. Yep. Is there any other options, though? Like, we could just take the 9 and just double Immolate regardless. And be able to just Clothesline this guy. That's probably still our best option. Like, we only have 1 defend in our hand right now. So we actually can't protect ourselves this turn. So I think just, like, the greatest defense is an offense. And we don't really have the time to be able to go for the bomb here, so I think we just go for this Immolate. Go for another Immolate. One of them is dead. We have a deal 12, which, yeah, we'll just kill off this one. Take 9 damage. Unfortunately, we're going to be, a -1 positive, or negative here. -1 damage by the end of this combat. That's what I'm trying to say. English hard, words terrible. Let's go for the bludgeon and just take this guy out. We have Blessing of the Forge, which is actually going to be very useful. It's going to be upgrading all the cards in our hand for once. We have Flame Barrier here too. I like Flame Barrier, especially as we're moving into the boss territory. I'm a pretty big fan. I think we should take that. It is a defensive card, but it's just like, I don't know, it's a giant block all in one that also is offensive. We have a Thorns guy. Ugh, and the Sploder and this guy. We have 16 damage coming into us. We're not going to really be able to go for the bomb, I feel like. Although it might be able to squeeze that in actually this turn. We're going to be drawing, what, 5 cards. So we're going to go down to 22, so we can deal 22 damage with this. Forethought is not terrible either. I think we're going to try to go for the bomb because I'm pretty sure if the bomb goes off, it doesn't actually deal damage to us. So that's my reasoning. I hope that's what the real case is. Yeah, let's go for a bomb. I don't think we're going to be able to immolate this turn. I think we should True Grit. The problem is that True Grit is going to get rid of a card, but we should clothesline first. So let's clothesline. Actually, let's clothesline this guy, and then we can go for the immolate if we want to here, and then we can True Grit to get rid of the defend. That sounds reasonable, because then we're not taking any damage this turn. And yeah, we'll just True Grit to get rid of the defend, you know? Might as well. So we're getting closer. Getting closer. We took the 3 damage too, by the way, for dealing the immolates, so we do have to keep that in mind. Unfortunately, we have no ways to prevent damage this turn. So, and we have no way to kill you. So Bash is not going to be helpful this turn against the Sphere because he has 2 negates artifacts things. So it's better for us to go for like Rampage Strike Pommel, which if I'm going to do that, I'm going to start with a Pommel first. I want to be able to kill the Thorns when we actually have the option to block up. And we don't have that option right now. So, or I could just go for... Oh, we had the bomb, don't we? So, okay, we have 2 more turns until the bomb. We're going to be taking 10, no matter what. That's super duper unfortunate. Yeah, we just drew the headbutt, so there was no way for us to like grab like True Grit or something. Well, I think we go for the Rampage, and I think we go for the headbutt, putting what? We could go for the True Grit. I actually don't think really any of these cards are worthwhile for us to draw, to be honest with you. Like, Immolate is the strongest card here, but then we're taking extra damage from the Thorny Boy. So I actually think we strike here, as weird as that is. I could have gone for the Fire Breathing too, actually, now that I think about it, but I think that strike would have been fine. He's not defending, so he's going to stay at 14 here. We did draw the Flame Barrier, and we have an Immolate, but unfortunately, we only have 3 mana. So, how do we want to go about this? Immolate's going to deal 21, which does kill this. Unfortunately, I will take damage. And he's at 34 right now. Ugh. Is there a way for us to be able to kill this? We have 32, which is not enough. We do have the Flame Barrier to be able to try to protect us a little bit this turn. Unfortunately, it's only blocking 12. Rough stuff. Rough. So, what else we got? Like, Immolate will deal 21. He will still be at 13. This will only deal 10. Oh, boy. Like, we have to kill one of these, and unfortunately we can't kill the Sphere. The flame barrier does help us against the sphere, though, so it is a consideration just to go for that. But that means that we're going to be taking an extra 7 from this anyways. We have one more turn until the bomb goes off, too. Oh, boy, oh, boy. This is not fun. This is a really bad turn for us. Because we're going to be taking damage no matter what. Like, I think we just go for the flame barrier and just wait for the bomb to go off, since there really isn't a point for us to deal more damage, and we'll just prevent some damage being dealt to us. Like, the only other option is what? To try to kill this, and even so, we're going to be taking 5 damage on the swing. Or we're going to be taking either 7 or 5, no matter what, basically. Yeah, it's unfortunate that we are frailed this turn, so, you know, I think we just, you know, go for the armaments, since it's slightly better than the defend, because it upgrades the rest of our hand. Oh, awesome. I didn't realize I was going to deal damage at the end of our turn. I thought that was going to be the following turn, so... Well, my bad. Heavy Blade is not going to be worthwhile because we don't have enough strength benefits. We could get another headbutt technically. Disarm Plus is not terrible either to be able to help us out against the bosses. A little... If I take anything, it's going to be the Disarm. If we had more like battle trances, I would definitely consider even the downgraded or the regular version of Headbutt. But I don't think that's even worth it to us. So Disarm is probably the choice here. I think it's just better for like the longevity of this, the bosses and stuff like that. Great. We can gain 5 block this turn, which we probably should. That is the most reasonable thing to do. We drew Immolate. Let's see what Infernal Blade has to offer for us. We have Sever Soul for 0 mana. We can Spot Weakness and Immolate. Unfortunately, that does not kill anybody, though. So let's go for the Disarm. Or not Disarm, whatever that was called. Good Instincts, there we go. I think we still should go for the Spot Weakness and Immolate here. Unfortunately, we're going to take 3 no matter what. And then we have Sever Soul. Sever Soul is probably just going to take out this guy. Yeah, we're still taking damage here no matter what. That is super unfortunate. Boy, oh boy. Man, here I was taking, you know, the regular enemies in Act 3, thinking, you know, it was going to be okay. I was dead wrong. And that was the moment that he realized he mucked up. Armaments is not terrible here, so I think we just go for that. Like, Bludgeon does kill this, but then we take 18. It's not enough. That's not a good justification for this turn. Just saying. Deal 6 would actually kill one of these, so I think we actually do that. Doesn't matter which one. Not really, no. They both do the same. We have True Grit to be able to get rid of Defend. I think that's worthwhile at this point, at this stage in the game. Actually, it might have been worth it to just get rid of that Bludgeon, to be honest, because we could probably need more defense to be able to take out Thornybore here. Do we have a Defend? We have a True Grit. Alright, let's see what the Infernal Blade has to offer first. It has a Searing Blow. So, I'm going to take a big gamble and just say we hopefully don't draw Immolate. You going crazy over there, little kitty? I think we have to True Grit, though. That will prevent us from taking damage here. Just don't discard the Immolate, please. Thank you. And then we can actually go for the Immolate and kill them. Oh, thank baby Jesus. We have Metallicized 6. That's pretty good. That means every turn we're going to be able to get 6 armor whenever we use that. I don't think any of these are worthwhile. Like, a second Fire Breathing is not terrible, but I don't want to fill our deck with too many cards like that. Maybe it is worthwhile for the heart, though, since our deck is not going to be blocking very often anyways. Oh, we're going to be taking a lot of damage from the heart. I feel like I don't think this run is good enough to be able to defeat the heart. We do have a lot of aggressive strategies, but unfortunately the heart just deals so much damage that I'm a little worried about that. Flex and Iron Wave are just not really worthwhile anyways. I passed on Flex many times just because it wasn't upgraded, because we really only found it when it wasn't really worth it to us anymore. So, and Iron Wave is just a mediocre card in general. Like, it's fine. It, you know, for 1 mana, that is a pretty decent card for, you know, what it does, giving you basically 10 stats worth of advantage. But fire breathing, I think we take it. Unfortunately, just for the heart. Like, that's really what it comes down to. We're gonna go for the question mark here. Ooh, we get to do the Tesseract. When navigating through the beyond, you discover a glowing Tesseract spinning and shifting gently in the air. Let's interact with it. We will touch it. Yeah, you touch it. A sharp pain flows through you, followed by vivid flashes of distant memory. Whose memories are these? I don't want to lose any HP, so I'm actually just going to get 1 card here. We have Bandage. Or we could just actually get Mayhem. I'm not opposed to Mayhem here. It is a 2 mana do nothing, but it's 2 mana. And it's not 3, so we actually can do something on the same turn. I wish there was a way to be able to get this into our opening hands to innate it. As much as I like Bandage, it's just not. Bandage is unfortunately past its prime. If we had gotten Bandage early on in this run, it would have been worthwhile. But we're just about to fight the final bosses of this game. We're not going to have enough combats to take advantage of Bandage. And Blind is fine, but Mayhem is card advantage, so I'm going to take that. And obviously we have to rest here. There is 0 other options. We only have 48 gold. Wow. All right, we got Donut and DECA. So Hand of Greed's not going to be helpful for us. Jack of all trades is random, and I like Discovery. So let's actually go for the Discovery here. Let's start with the Infernal Blade, see what we get for that. We got Heavy Blade. We would like to go for the Discovery next, see what we get from that. We are probably going to go for a 0 mana dual wield. I am not opposed to that. We can be able to potentially copy 2 Heavy Blades. Or we could double Flame Barrier. We're only going to really want to cast 1 Flame Barrier. We are going to want to disarm this turn too, so that's 3 mana right there. It does cost 0, right, from this card? Really? You're not going to let me see Discovery? That is rude. I'm pretty sure it costs 0 this turn, so no matter what we take, it's going to be worthwhile. We could double disarm. That's not an awful choice. But then then we don't get to actually go for the Immolates. Are we going to pass on actually going for the Flame Barrier here? Or are we just going to go for double Immolate, actually? I think if we're going to do that, then we should go for the Rage. Yeah, I think we should double Immolate here. Yeah, that just sounds like the best option. And these guys have artifacts on them, so like obviously I could have upgraded there. I guess I could have considered that, but I don't really want to use any of these potions if I can help it, because we're about to go fight the heart after this. So if I can hold on to some of these potions, I'll be very grateful. Yeah, so we just have to pick one and go after him. We don't really have any real significant reasons to go after one or the other. But once one is dead, it'll be much more helpful. So we're just going to pick DECA here. So we're taking 1. That's fine. We also got an extra energy from that nunchuck, which I didn't even notice, but I don't think we could take advantage of it anyways. Do they put cards into our deck? They do. They put burns into our deck. So fire breathings are actually reasonable here. Why don't we go for that? And we have uppercut, which will be able to apply, I believe, vulnerable to you. Yes, it will. We have seeing red, which we can go for the rampage if we want here. So we're going to be taking damage. There's no way around that. I could pop the Metallicize here. I just don't think it's worthwhile. Over the course of this game, he's what, like probably 2 turns, 3 turns? Yeah, okay, we'll pop Metallicize. He's probably 3 turns away from being dead. which is the reason why. So we'll get 18 block out of that to be able to help us so we can try to be able to start going after Donu. So obviously disarm is really good here. Bludgeon would be fantastic, but I don't think we can afford to. I think we should go for the disarm to try to take less damage here. Let's go for the pommel strike, see what we draw. Because you don't know. Could be anything. Mayhem is fantastic. I think we go for the Mayhem here, actually. And we just take 20 on the chin. Oh, that doesn't sound good to say out loud. The other option is to actually go for the Blessing of Forge, which, like I said, I was trying to save all my potions, but the Blessing of Forge will make Mayhem cost 1, which is the reason why I'm considering it, because then we can still go for a Shrug and try to protect ourselves a little bit here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I just don't like it, because I want to save the card. We drew armaments. Of course we did. Of course we drew armaments. You know, you always show up at like the greatest time, right? That's sarcasm. +3 strength. So he's defending this turn. We choose a card to exhaust. What did we cast? What did we cast? I didn't even pay attention to what was just cast, but let's see. We're probably not going to be... We'll go for the defend here. I'm gonna double tap bash, so... And then we have True Grit to get rid of this defend. So we're still taking 10 damage here. Yeah. But we are looking better, I guess. 0 mana. Oh, these guys just deal so much damage. 32. Nope, 26 damage coming our way. We have no way to protect that. So let's see. If I go up to 5, 1, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So we should be good. So let's spot weakness. Yeah, and just go for what are we gonna put on top of our deck? Actually, let's see if we can figure that out first. Double tap is really good to be able to just deal double damage. I think that might be our best option, to be honest. Yeah, I think that is. So we deal 52. Deal 18. I just want to try to kill his Deca as quickly as possible. And I think double tap leads us in that direction. So yeah, we're taking quite a hefty amount of damage here. Thankfully, we pulled off the metallicize early on, which means we're able to soak up some of this damage. But 17 life is not looking good. Is looking a little scary because we have Donu dealing way too much damage here. This is the bad turn for the double tap. Yes, indeed. It is a bad turn for double tap. And are we dead, actually, now that I think about it? Block 16. So let's see. We're going to be blocking 22. 22, which would be 39. We at 1? I think we're at 1. I don't know. We have to play Flame Barrier regardless. Like, that's the only way we actually survive. So we'll figure it out as we play. We could Flame Barrier for next turn too if we wanted to, and go for the Headbutt here. Could double tap the Headbutt, but the problem is that I think that will put the burn on top of our deck, which we don't want, because that will kill us. That will kill us. I repeat, that will kill us. Boy, this is just fantastic right now. It says the attack is played twice, so I think it would. Actually, no, double tap. No. We can still double tap here. Yeah. Yeah, we'll take the Flame Barrier, and then we'll take the double tap. Okay. Okay, yeah. That's how this works. Yes. Yes. Are we dead? I didn't do the math, so I thought we were at 1. Yeah. Wait a minute. You are not dead. This is not going well for anybody involved. Well, we like have to try to kill you here. Spot weakness will definitely set us up to be able to take this guy down, so I think we should actually go for that. We have double tap to be able to go for a double pommel strike, which deals the most amount of damage to you and kills you, thankfully. Okay. And then we just have, what, another pommel strike to be able to deal damage to this guy. I think that's the best case scenario. Like, we couldn't have asked for much more. We're at 1. We're at 1. He's going to buff. And he's going to attack us, probably. Oh, 22 times 2. Oh my god, that's so much damage. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. Oh, well, I mean, like, we only have the cards in our hand. I should have went for the armaments first. What are you doing? Well, you literally thought about it, and then you just decided to go for the crappier play. You fool of a took. Yeah, even with that, I think we were just dead regardless, so we would have gotten, like, what, like 10 extra? Yeah, we're still dead here. That is super duper unfortunate. We got close. So probably if we use this Thorns, we might have been able to get there, but man, we unfortunately we got the donut and and DECA, which, you know, are fine with like fire breathing, which is the one that whenever we draw statuses and curses would deal damage to them, but we just never really were able to take full advantage of that. So we were trying to set up for the heart, and I feel like that was our downfall. So at least in this matchup, we also probably, I think, could have gone after Donut. Which, if I had paid attention, I wonder if there was any indicators that would have let us know which one to go after at first. I feel like I should have paid attention a little bit more to try to find out if, like, maybe one was blocking or one was attacking or buffing. Like, because Donut was dealing more damage than DECA, obviously we should have gone after Donut. But did we have any indicators early on in the game that should have made it so that way when we choose one, which one should we have gone after? So I should have paid attention a little bit more to that, so that way I could try to like learn from it. But maybe I'll go back and actually rewatch this, so that way I can see if they interact a certain way in the beginning of it. So that is super duper unfortunate. The deck wasn't, like, I would say, overpowered by any means. There was a lot of aggressive elements to it, but the biggest key thing we had for it was like Pocket Watch in the beginning, but we were just never able to do Pocket Watch anymore. So I feel like that was kind of like the downfall, was we took the route of getting an extra mana or getting some more free cards, which means we just didn't have extra options, and drawing extra options would have been more helpful too, because there were a lot of turns where we just didn't have any block, especially against like these smaller minions. I feel like we could have used some extra block against those. We did have double Immolate, which obviously was fantastic. If anybody learned anything from this, that Immolate is really, really powerful, especially early on if you can take it. Oh my goodness. I would definitely take it again. Unfortunately, though, I am sad to see us die at this DECA and Donu. So that's going to do it for this episode, though. I wish we could have gone further, but further beyond would have been nice. 30 cards, though, is quite a lot. We didn't really have a lot of draw. So maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe I should have just stopped taking cards. Like, I realized that I was starting to get pretty lean about, you know, making sure I don't take too many cards, but maybe there was maybe there was more times where I just should have just passed on things. Like, maybe I shouldn't have taken fire breathing. I was just taking it because I was trying to make sure our deck was at least suited for the bosses, which if you ever play Binding of Isaac, you know, you sometimes will take, you know, different items that are specifically to defeat bosses. And that's really the only purpose they're there for, and they really don't serve any purpose outside of just defeating a boss. And I feel like fire breathing would have been okay against DECA and Donu. I just think because we had 30 cards in our deck that we just didn't actually have the chance to be able to take full advantage of those. I believe we did cast them early on in the game, if I'm not mistaken. I think we cast both of them. So I'm basically I'm trying to just reflect and learn on see if there's key pieces that I could have learned and maybe changed for like my next run. And that's kind of how I go about every run is like as long as you can get 1% better, then you're getting better. And um, I feel like we have too thick of a deck. We didn't have enough draw. We picked probably a very aggressive strategy, which if you're, defeating elites and you're defeating regular enemies, I feel like that's the way that you want to go for defeating those. But bosses, I don't think you can be all that aggressive. I think you have to be defensive at times. Um, and like obviously like a barricade style deck would be fantastic against bosses because you just keep building up all of your defenses, and then you have entrench, which will, double all of your block. Um, so those are like strategies I'm looking out to like try at some point because I have a feeling that like having unlimited HP in a sense is going to be a way to go to defeat these. Um, but also if I just pick like a purely aggressive strategy, I don't think that we're just too fragile to we're like almost like glass cannony. So basically we deal a ton of damage, but we are very weak. We're very squishy. And it's kind of like playing like a mage in like World of Warcraft or something, or like in any game really, because mages, they take a lot of damage, but they deal a lot of damage, which is kind of like the wrath form of the Watcher in this game, where when you're in wrath you deal double damage, but you take double damage. So I feel like when you go very aggressive with the Ironclad, that is typically the direction you go in. If you go aggressive, you become a glass cannon, and I think that's what this run was just like us becoming a glass cannon, and I think we should try to avoid that if at all possible, or at least try to make it more balanced. Since I think we were just way more aggressive with this deck. Because just looking at the deck right now, like there are so many aggressive cards, so many attack style cards, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would call this another one, 9, 10. We have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16. So more than half of the deck is all aggressive. We have probably, I would say, like 12 to 13 defensive cards, and then we have just like other cards that are just helpful. So I would even say these are technically attack cards too, the fire breathing and the fire breathing cards. So yeah, I didn't even count those. And mayhem is just like a really good card engine, so that's its own separate category. But yeah, we had plenty of attack in the deck. And I'm very sad to lose this run, but thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the commentary. Hopefully you learned something from this. Maybe you learned from my mistakes, or maybe you learned that different synergies, or maybe you didn't learn anything and maybe you want to help me learn something. So feel free to put it down in the comments. I'm more than happy to take on constructive criticism as long as you were nice about it. But that is really all I have for you today. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this run, and next time we're going to be trying out probably another run for the Ironclad, and I would like to try to get a win with Ironclad and then move on. But maybe I'll think about that, and maybe we'll do a silent. I'm not really sure yet. So that is going to do it though for me. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck and grind on, everyone.